Today we're diving into something deep and rarely spoken about, the invisible battles carried by those who are chosen by God. If life feels heavier for you, more complicated, and you often wonder why things don't come easy, this message might be exactly what your soul has been waiting for. What if your struggles aren't just bad luck, but a mark of divine selection? If you've ever felt isolated in your walk with God, this video is for you. Watch until the end. There's revelation coming that may change how you see your pain. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and drop a comment below. Your support helps us spread these truths further. Let's begin. The first pain that marks the life of the chosen is isolation. From the beginning of time, those handpicked by God often walked alone. Relationships grow cold, loved ones don't understand, and society labels them as different. It's not because there's something wrong with them. It's because their purpose is uncommon. God gives them visions, dreams, and convictions that the average person can't grasp. This disconnect isn't a punishment, it's preparation. The loneliness isn't just loneliness, it's divine training. Rejection isn't always from the enemy. Sometimes it's God creating space for something greater He's building within you. Rejection often opens the door to a deeper pain, loneliness. It's one thing to be misunderstood by people. It's another to feel emotionally and spiritually alone. Many of God's chosen carry this weight silently, walking through seasons where it seems no one can comprehend what burns inside their soul. But don't be deceived. This isn't abandonment, it's refinement. Even Jesus, in his final hours at Gethsemane, experienced this. Surrounded by disciples who had walked with him for years, he found himself praying alone while they slept. In that silence, he aligned fully with the Father's will. And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age. Matthew 28:20. Loneliness. 4. The chosen isn't punishment, it's preparation. When there's no one left to lean on, we learn to lean entirely on God. That's how unshakable faith is born. Being chosen doesn't mean being above struggle. In fact, it often means facing even greater internal battles. The second pain is the relentless war within, the fight between the spirit and the flesh. Those marked by God feel this tension every day. There's a hunger for holiness, but also a vulnerability to temptation, to weakness, to human desires that resist the Spirit's leading. The Apostle Paul, despite his powerful ministry, was transparent about this very war. For I do not do the good I want to do, but the evil I do not want to do. This I keep on doing. Romans 7:19. This struggle doesn't disqualify you. It proves you're in the fight. It proves the Holy Spirit is active in you. The chosen don't pretend to be perfect. They wrestle, they fall, but they keep returning to God again and again, knowing He is their strength. The internal war between flesh and spirit eventually demands something even heavier: renunciation. For those chosen by God, life becomes a constant crossroads between personal desire and divine direction. This isn't just about giving up sin. It's about releasing what is good in favor of what is holy. Sometimes it's walking away from a career path that promises success, ending a relationship that isn't aligned with God's plan, or letting go of a dream that brings comfort but not purpose. Renunciation cuts deep because it requires the death of self, but those truly called know this. God never asks us to let go of something without having something far greater ahead. The pain of surrender leads to the power of purpose. What makes this process even harder is how misunderstood it often is. People may question your decisions, criticize your convictions, or label you as extreme. They don't see the silent conversations you've had with God. They don't understand the cost of obedience. But here's the truth. What seems like a sacrifice to the world is actually a seed planted in eternity. While others chase temporary satisfaction, the chosen invest in what cannot be taken away. And that decision, though painful, carries eternal weight. One of the most intense struggles the chosen face is spiritual loneliness. You can be in a room full of people, even surrounded by believers, and still feel out of sync, as if your heart is tuned to a frequency few can hear. This isn't pride, it's the price of being set apart. Your perspective shifts, your priorities change, and your spirit starts longing for something more than this world can offer. While others are consumed by the now, you're drawn to what is unseen, eternal. And because of that, even those closest to you might not fully grasp your path. Sometimes, even in church, you feel like a stranger. not because you're distant from God, but because your calling is drawing you deeper. It's a lonely road, but never a wasted one. Jesus himself tasted the depths of spiritual loneliness in Gethsemane. Though his disciples were close by, not one stayed awake to stand with him. He prayed in anguish, soaked in sorrow, knowing only the Father could carry the weight of what lay ahead. That moment wasn't abandonment, it was consecration. The same is true for the chosen today. When no one else understands, when support fades and silence surrounds, God is present, shaping you in that solitude. Spiritual loneliness isn't a curse, it's an invitation. It pulls you deeper into his presence and teaches you that your true strength doesn't come from people, but from your intimacy with him. With this loneliness often comes a companion, misunderstanding. Those marked by God are frequently misread, criticized, or dismissed by others who cannot see the invisible hand guiding their lives. It's a pain that strikes deep, being questioned by family, doubted by friends, and even judged by fellow believers. But Jesus prepared us for this reality. If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first. John 15:18. He was rejected in his hometown. His own brothers doubted him, and still, he pressed on. Misunderstanding isn't proof that you're lost. It's often confirmation that you're walking a path few dare to follow. Those who are chosen live with a different lens. While the world chases applause, approval, and pleasure, the chosen chase eternity. They see beyond the moment and invest in what truly lasts. This difference isn't always celebrated. It's often resisted. But through every accusation, every betrayal, and every painful separation, God remains. He does not forget his own. Instead, he uses every wound to purify, every misunderstanding to mature, and every lonely night to draw the chosen closer to the purpose that was written for them before time began. Among the deepest pains the chosen ones endure is the pain of waiting, especially in a world obsessed with speed, instant results, and immediate gratification. For those who walk with God, waiting becomes a sacred tension. It's the long silence between the promise and its fulfillment, between the prayer and the answer. It's waiting for direction, healing, breakthrough, or a dream long buried in the heart. And in that waiting, doubt creeps in. Is anything even happening? Did God forget? But the truth is, delay is not denial. It's divine design. Look at King David, anointed as king, yet hunted like a criminal for years before ever touching the throne. Joseph received dreams of greatness, only to be sold, betrayed, and imprisoned for years. Both stories seem like setbacks, but in reality, they were setups. God wasn't punishing them, he was preparing them. His silence wasn't neglect, it was the sound of work being done in the unseen. The chosen must learn that God's timeline is not rushed, but always right, and waiting, as painful as it is, becomes the classroom of trust, the furnace of faith. Waiting doesn't feel holy, it feels like stagnation. It feels like being stuck while others move forward. The mind gets noisy with questions. The heart grows impatient, and the temptation to settle or walk away becomes real. But this is exactly where the deepest transformation happens. God uses waiting to strip away pride, burn away impatience, and form character that can carry the weight of the calling. It's not just about when God will act, it's about who you are becoming while he prepares the answer. The chosen ones learn to rest in the unknown, to trust in silence, and to believe when there is nothing visible to hold on to. Because waiting isn't wasted, it's holy ground. In the agony of waiting, many are tempted to take shortcuts, pushing doors open, forcing timing, or settling for less than God's best. But the chosen, often through hard lessons, come to understand that rushing the process only invites deeper pain. Abraham, in his impatience, tried to fulfill God's promise on his own, and the consequences echoed through generations. It's not that the promise was wrong, it's that the timing was sacred. Trusting without clarity, waiting without answers, and obeying without guarantees. This is the mark of those being prepared for something far greater than they imagined. The waiting may wound, but it also proves that something divine is being written behind the scenes. Another deep pain reserved for God's chosen is the pain of separation. As they journey further into obedience, they begin to notice something. Not everyone can follow. Friends drift away, relationships end, and opportunities vanish. Not because of failure, but because they no longer fit the direction God is leading. The pain of letting go is real. We are wired for connection, and saying goodbye, even to good things, hurts. But what the chosen learn is this: God removes with purpose. He doesn't take without preparing to give. Some separations aren't losses, they're alignments. Even Jesus experienced this, surrounded by 12 disciples, yet deeply alone in mission. One betrayed him, another denied him, the rest fled. In his most vulnerable hour, he walked the road to Calvary with no human support. Why? Because sometimes obedience requires isolation, and still, God never left him, nor will he leave you. When people walk away, when comfort disappears, and when familiar voices fall silent, God's presence remains. He fills every gap with peace. He brings new connections, new strength, and new purpose in time. What felt like a loss becomes the soil where something eternal is born. We've come to the end of another video, and the truths we've uncovered today are not just reflections, they're lifelines. If you felt the weight of any of these pains, know this: none of them are without purpose. Every tear, every moment of silence, every loss and delay is being used by God to shape you, strengthen you, and lead you into something far greater than you can imagine. The chosen are not spared from pain, but through it, they are made ready for glory. Now it's your moment to take a step. If these words spoke to your heart, don't keep them to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs encouragement today. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that now. Hit the bell so you're notified whenever we post new content. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Tell us which of these struggles you've faced and how God has been moving in your life. Your story might be the comfort someone else needs right now. Never forget, pain is not the end of the story. God is with you in the fire, in the silence, in the waiting, and in the loss. And through it all, He is preparing you for the fullness of your calling. Hold on, stay faithful. The best is still ahead. God bless you, and see you in the next video.